recently launched my art subscription box. Here is one that was all ready to go. So I was going to show you today how I packed it all up, how I set it all up, the things I decided to put in there. Hello, my name is Lauren and I run That Kid Life, which is children's arts and crafts clubs across Essex. And I have recently launched my art subscription box. Here is one that was all ready to go. So I was going to show you today how I packed it all up, how I set it all up, the things I decided to put in there. Now, as I said, this one's all ready to go, so we're actually going to work backwards and I'm going to unwrap it and show you, which I think is really important to keep the child in mind and how they're feeling when they open up this box. We want them to be so excited and just can't wait to rip it open and see what's inside. So it's a really nice way to put yourself in the shoes of a child opening this. So I used these boxes. I toyed with the idea of the ones that fit through the letterboxes. However, they just weren't big enough for what I wanted to put in there. So I've gone for these boxes and I think they feel really special because they feel like a nice little present that you get in each month. I've kept them plain and I'm hoping to use white boxes soon. These were just ones that I had left from something I was previously selling. But I think the white ones are quite nice. I also put in my selling page, I also remind parents that these boxes fold out so they can use them on the tabletops to save paint and mess and things like that. So it's just quite nice to give some ideas of how the box can be reused. And just a gentle reminder that they can also be used for crafts, which you guys know, but parents might not think about. It might just go straight in the recycling or straight in the bin. So I think it's quite nice to give them a couple of ideas of how they can reuse the box. These labels here, I've just printed at home, and inside it looks like this. Now I have a postcard. They're just a random postcard. You could use art themed ones. I tend to keep postcards that come with all sorts of other parcels. You know, when you buy from other small businesses, quite often they'll put just a blank postcard in there. I tend to keep them all and then just pick a random one to send out to children. And I just write a little personalised message on the back for the child. Again, just makes them feel that little bit special, doesn't it? And not like it's just they're receiving another box. They know this box has been especially packed for them. And then inside I have a sticker, again with my branding on there, printed at home. But this is something I will also get printed elsewhere when I'm able to scale up my subscribers. I use tissue paper just to wrap, again to give that present feel, to make it feel extra special. It just makes it a little bit more fun, doesn't it, like opening a present. So let's just turn this one open. Okay, and then inside, inside it looks like this. So I've been using the Art Club templates, and this is for a Winter Wonderland one. So I've got 4 lessons in here for them with the step-by-step instructions. And all I've done is printed them out at home, and I've rolled each set of instructions up with some nicer paper. So rather than the sort of copier paper you might use at home, the copier paper I've used to print these on, in fact, just some more quality art paper, just to show that they've got more quality materials rather than just a piece of paper that anybody might have at home. So all I do is roll those up with each one so they can just grab one and they've got the paper and the instructions, they're ready to go. Let me just move these bits and pieces out of the way. Inside I also have these photo cards, and these are the 4 images, the 4 projects that they've got in their box. And these are quite nice for them to reuse as postcards, or you could in fact print these out and use it as a handwritten postcard. Again, I printed these at home. I just bought photographic paper just from a pound shop, so it was super cheap. Yeah, and printed those out. I did trim them around the edge because some of them came out a little bit wonky. I don't know what I did with my printer, but so I just trimmed them around the edge. I thought they're a nice little keepsake for the children, or like I say, they'll be great to use as postcards. Inside, I also have some art equipment. So for this first box, I have given some 2 paintbrushes. For the paintbrushes, what I do is I tend to buy a big pack and then pick 2 random ones out, normally a thicker one and a thinner one for each box. And that way it keeps costs down for you as well. So I tend to buy a big box of those. The paints are something at the moment that I buy ready filled. So these are ready filled watercolour paints. Again, they're just from a very cheap shop. but as I scale up, I will buy these in wholesale, which will reduce costs. So as your numbers increase, your margins also increase, which is fantastic. So I've worked out my box that I can make, what I've spent on all of the items is I've allowed myself up to £6 to fill the boxes, and I sell them for £18.95 including postage. I did a bit of market research, that's British pounds by the way. I did some market research and asked people if they would prefer postage to be included or not, and there was quite a resounding yes they would. A lot of people seem to be put off by adding postage charges on at the end. So I do an all-inclusive price for my subscription model. So I make sure that whatever I pop in comes to no more than £6 a month, and then once I've taken off postage and the amount for the boxes and things like that, that means that I make almost, I think it works out at £9 per box profit. So that works out quite well for me at the moment, and like I say, as that scales up, those profit margins will increase as well. So once I've got a few more subscribers, I should be able to have sort of £11 profit from each box I sell. So these paints at the moment I buy ready sealed. You can decant your own. I actually sent myself a couple of boxes with paints packaged in different ways to see how they would fare. So it's quite a good idea. Once you've decided on your box, taken those photos or whatever of all the contents, send it to yourself so you can see how it arrives. You can see if everything arrives in good condition. You can see if the paints are still in the pots, or if things have been bashed about, or if you need to rethink the packaging. So I would definitely recommend sending one to yourself. If you've got children, fantastic, send one to them, because then you can also see their reaction as they're opening it, see which things really get their interest, see which things they've gone, oh, or things that they've just cast aside because they're perhaps things that you may wish to change about your box. So I offer 2 paints, and everyone this month has had blue and green. And the reason I've done that is so that people don't get duplicate colours each month, because obviously it's impossible for me to keep track of who received which one. So everybody gets the same colours. So next month everybody's going to get red and yellow, the following month everyone's going to get black and white. So it doesn't matter which month people join in, they will get their 2 colours, and I'll do it kind of on a 6-month rotation, so that over the course of 6 months everyone will have a whole set of paints. And I also make that clear on my selling page when people go on to buy, that they'll get 2 paint colours to build up a collection over time, and that's also a really good incentive for people to keep subscribing each month. So we've got the paints. I've also given people a full set of oil pastels. I bought these wholesale to keep the prices down a little bit, but these are just from a basics collection. I think it's nice to include a few bits that people might not have at home. People are likely to have a set of coloured pencils or a set of markers, for example, but not everybody will have a full set of oil pastels, and it also makes the child think of themselves as a real artist. They've got real paintbrushes, real paints, real pastels. How exciting. I also include a pencil, which I know sort of contradicts what I just said. Most people have a pencil at home. However, when talking to parents, it seemed as though people wanted everything to be in the box that they needed. So they were thinking of this as an independent activity. So if they were, lots more people are working from home and so on at the moment. So they wanted it to be something that children could just grab and just do, which is why I've included a pencil so they can sketch out their lovely art designs before painting it or using the pastels. So that's why I've included that there. And then I always include a couple of little extras each month. So this month, the reason I picked these is my daughter is absolutely crazy about these, and she's got them in a few party bags recently and just loves them. They're just snap bands, which if you were around when the Spice Girls were around, you probably know quite a bit about these. I definitely had them when I was little. So it's just not art related, just something a little bit fun to go in there, and a little mini sketchbook for them. So it's just a couple of little extras that they can keep coming back to, and I will keep 4 different themed designs each month from the CCC art lessons, but I will change the art supplies. I will keep giving 2 paintbrushes in 2 different colours each month, but this is the main thing that I will change, along with the 2 little surprises. Okay, So next month I am using some watercolour pencils. So they're a little bit different from normal pencils. They come with a water pen as well, so that you can brush over them. They give a really lovely effect. So that over time, people can build up a really cool collection of art equipment. So there's lots of different things to think about there, and some little extras just to make it a little bit special. Something else that cropped up with parents was that they didn't want sweets because they had so many party bags, things like that at school. Children were always coming home with sweets, so they wanted this to be just a nice focused activity, not based on sweets and things. But a couple of extra little presents I think are just a really nice touch there, and I've had great feedback from them. The way I set my boxes out is when I am packing, I line up I make my boxes up, they come flat packed, so I make up all the cardboard boxes first. I line them all up, I go and put the tissue paper along each one, I put a leaflet along each one. Then I spend some time rolling up the designs and I put one in each. I do it like a little production line, and that's the easiest way for me to do it. I use a courier who I've used many times before, very reliable and very cheap, and just drop them all off at my local shop where they sort them all out for me. And yeah, that's it really. I've had a really great reaction from them. But you can find me at That Kid Life if you've got any questions. I'm more than happy to answer any questions or to help you with it, or on the CCC forum. Do pop any questions up there, and I am always happy to give you some advice about how I've worked through it, because it was a bit of trial and error. I've tried a few different boxes to work out, how the best way to go with it. But honestly, the art lessons are perfect for just popping in there, and that's a huge job of planning these out that you don't need to think about. You can think of all the other little bits and pieces that go in there. So good luck with your boxes.